get saved so they can be played on another day. Rob's Arcade.
All right, there we go. And yeah, welcome back to part three. Thanks for tuning in here as we ring in the Martin Luther King Jr. Day here on this Monday, and just kind of get caught up with everything that's been going on. Um, Kind of talked about 2025 earlier and some of the other videos, and then tried to figure out the lay of the land in this apartment. This thing doesn't make any sense. Uh, just trying to figure out where the windows downstairs, and I don't know. It's just interesting. I didn't mean for the second piece to be so focused on what the outside and inside of this imaginary condo looked like, but I don't know. I thought it would be fun to kind of explore that and jump back into our discussions about 2026 and the new year. Wishing you guys a happy new year. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hopefully you guys had a nice long weekend. Um, with it being, like I said, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I know there's some people in the office, some people working from home, all of that. But whatever you're doing, if you're home, if you're off, hopefully it's a good day. Hopefully you had a good weekend. I myself had a great weekend. I typically don't do a lot. I'll talk a little bit about more in the weekend in just a moment, but I do want to talk about that a little bit because that's something. So maybe a good segue into a piece that I've been wanting to discuss. And it's been tough, like trying to get these out. Like I said, I think in a couple of the other videos that I've been trying to get some of these out. Just been busy with work and tired and getting home. And how do there's a good chance I'll record all of these videos and have to redo them all again, or might not see the light of day. I could forget, who knows. Hopefully, I will get them up this time and finally get kind of caught up, and we can start getting ready for February and, get some other videos posted. I'd love to get back into just some gameplay videos. I've been doing some Hogwarts. I haven't even really had time to play Fortnite. I think I mentioned in my last video, I finally got some time to post a Fortnite video from a few weeks ago, and that was really probably the last time I got a good, solid uh, game in. I don't think I still have my crown. It sucks. I think my cousin and I, we played a game, and then he had to jump out, and we lost our crowns. We might still have his. I don't know. I have to go back and see if I think I still have that clip. That might be fun to look at as well. I think there's a clip where after the dub, and I'm pretty sure that I posted the dub finally on Friday. I think there's a moment where I'm dropping in and talking to him, and then all of a sudden he's gone. So I'm gonna see if I can't find that clip and put that out there too. Maybe what I'll do is like some breaks in between some of these videos and kind of like little intermissions into this whole long catch up here. So anyway, speaking of catch up, let's go ahead and cut to the mustard and talk about. Like I said, I don't really go out a lot. Recently had a birthday, had some plans, and one of the things I hate doing is I hate making plans. It seems like they never quite work out. I think that's probably part of the reason why myself and others probably too. I think this is probably a shared frustration and anxiety and things where it's like dating is kind of wonky. Um, I mentioned as well as like 25 being great, being able to spend some time with my boo thing, and my love life is one of those things with 25 that I quite didn't get straightened out just yet. I'm not really sure. Like I said, another year, another birthday, 45. It's gone now. We're over 45. And what does that look like? Dating, all of that. It's really weird. And I think part of that lies in that whole like making plans. It's just tough being an adult. It's easier, you're younger. It's just like, yeah, sure. I mean, everybody goes out Friday, Saturday nights. It's just kind of like the thing. I went out over the weekend and it was just weird. It was like we were making jokes, me and my buddy, like, is it still the same? Do you need an app to get in now? Like, what does it look like? Like, I don't even know. You know, it's really it's interesting, but it's one of those things I haven't quite figured out, even with this um, rekindled uh, this complicated like love interest thing they have going on. Like even that, like that whole dating situation. How do you find time to kind of like hook up and do things together? With time over mass over distance squared equals whatever. So it's tough. Trying to find those pieces. So I don't really go out a whole lot. Like I said, I had a birthday recently, and it's also one of those things too where it's not like you turning 21 or 30 or like it's like a milestone. It's just another day. You get to be a certain age, and there's not a whole lot that I want to do. Like most of my thing is like, I love playing video games and hanging out. I would love my whole thing would be, maybe hang out with the boys, eat some pizza, and like play some video games, like old school on the couch, or run a Fortnite all day session, just all day long with the boys playing Fortnite for my birthday. Like that would be dope. That would be dope, kind of actually like a Fortnite birthday party where everybody's locked in for like 4 to 6 hours just grinding out birthday dubs. That'd be fucking cool. Um, but I don't really do, like I said, do a whole lot. I don't really go out. Most of my social life revolves around working out and my job, which I enjoy. Like I said, I love what I do. There are times where, gosh, I don't even feel like I really, uh, I'm getting the most out of my day unless I'm doing something at work or getting a workout in or something along those lines. Like that's where I get my energy, man. That's where I get I'm serious, man, where I get my vibe from. It's like it was the same too when I used to work at the restaurant. Like there were days where coffee just wasn't enough. Just no amount of whatever was going to get me jazzed up, if you will. But then I would have a table, somebody would come in, I'd have that conversation with somebody, that engagement, and then that's what would get me going. And it's the same. It's like it's very much the same. I often complain about some of the nonsense that people walk through the front door with, but I absolutely love it. Like it does drive me bonkers, but it warms my heart at the same time. But that's kind of also where I get my social. Like I don't really, that's something I would say like for 2025, if I do have any like resolutions or something I need to work on, it probably is going out and having more of a social life. Um, but I did make some plans for my birthday, and they didn't just quite work out. And I'm not upset. Like it just happens. A friend of mine, her flight got delayed, and she didn't like wind up getting into town even till like well after like 6 or 7 o'clock. Um, my friend, I think his dad's really been going through it, so he's just been really tied up between work and helping out his pops, which that's admirable. You cannot get upset for that. Like that's what you're supposed to do. He's a good son, and I'm glad his dad has him there to be able to do these things. But it just it's tough, man. You try to make plans, you try to do things, and like I said, being an adult, you just can't always do them. So I didn't really do a whole lot for my birthday, but I did want to just kind of hang out, watch some TV. Um, you know, I thought at some point, like I said, some friends might pop in and out or whatever. But there's some movies that I love to watch and some things that I love to do on my birthday. And I got really upset. Like I got really kind of ticked off. Um, and I think that says a lot because it wasn't my friends um, canceling plans or not being able to spend time or hang out with them. Um, it was really something like inside the house here, and it's something I've been dealing with for a while. Um, something my mom and I both deal with on a daily basis. And I think I kind of mentioned I wanted to dive into this in my last video, and this is where it's been kind of tough, like trying to get all this aired out and put this out in the right way, because I start talking about it and I get fired up. I start making insults, and I don't want to do that. Like I want to put it out there, clear cut as possible without being like even adding fuel to the fire or being some kind of like protagonist with it. I was speaking to my buddy there. He just hit me up. So we went out the other Other night. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Love it. Um, but, something like I said, we deal with on a daily basis, my mom and I, and it's not right, and it's just something that, I think I've even said in other videos, like as things happen, I want to talk about it, and I want to bring it to light. And like I said, I do these videos about Monday motivations and living right and what it means. And I think it would be kind of, I don't want to say deceitful, but kind of a falsity to kind of preach those things and kind of talk about that and then sit back and not acknowledge this. But I live with my mom and my uncle and myself here. Um, my father also lived with us up until when he passed. And it's interesting living with old folks. Like I work a lot with seniors, and it's a different beast living with those who are retired. I would say it's comparable to living with teenagers from time to time. Um, I think anybody would agree. Like parents could be taxing, living with relatives could be taxing, but I think there comes a line and a point where you know, like enough is enough. And I only say that because it's bad enough on a daily basis, week in, week out kind of a thing. But you're coming out of the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and it's like a time when people are supposed to be decent to each other. And then you have your birthday, and it's a day where you just kind of want to relax and enjoy yourself, and you feel like you can't because you know watching TV or making too much noise disrupts the peace of others. And it's almost like you can't find a place to just relax and exist on your days off. And it's just not right. And what I'm talking about is the fact that no matter what I'm watching or what time of day it is, if I have the TV up too loud or I'm making too much noise in the house, and it's the same for my mom as well, which is really sad because she pays for this house. Like this is, you know, we share the space and we all live here together, but this wouldn't even have happened if it hadn't been for my mom and my father making this happen. And my uncle just goes around being a pill, being miserable. It's not fair. Slamming doors, stomping around, cursing and mumbling under his breath. And it's bad enough on a day in, day out sort of basis. But like I said, here I am at my birthday, trying to watch TV, trying to relax, and I had to deal with that on my birthday. And it really bothered me. Like it really upset me. It's like movies like Batman Begins, uh, gosh, Karate Kid, that highlight birthdays. And if you know me, I love watching movies during different holidays and different events. During March, I do a martial arts madness to kind of like play on the March madness of college basketball, but then yet the love of martial arts movies that I have, and just how can I keep marathons going? And when it comes to birthdays, I'd like to do the same thing, and it just really bothered me that you know as I'm sitting down watching TV, I have to deal with like the slamming of doors and the stomping around, and it's not right. Like I said, it's something my mom has to deal with on a daily basis whenever she's trying to sit back and watch TV. And I mean, I guess I can understand if it happens a lot and it's all the time, but I mean, I don't know. For the most part, I'm at work. I can work anywhere between like 40, sometimes 45, 50 hours a week, depending on what we have going on, and there's some kind of like a special event or I don't know, extended hours thing going on. I mean, just it doesn't, I never know my one of those pieces where it's like um, living with retired folks too is you have to constantly kind of repeat yourself. And my mom is always like, "What time are you getting off?" Like, I have no idea. I don't know. It's just like I have no idea when I'm going to get off, just because anything can happen. So many days, especially these last couple of weeks, I will be leaving work with my jacket on and my book bag on my shoulder, just like ready to head out, and somebody will walk in and need some information or need to be shown around or need some kind of like assistance with something that it's just it never fails. Or even just a conversation. Like sometimes I'll be leaving ready to head out and I'll get stuck into a conversation with the member because they either have a complaint or a highlight or just something. It never fails. Um, but it's again, it's frustrating. You get home from work, you want to watch a little Buffy the Vampire Slayer, some Angel, just kind of take it easy, and you almost just anticipate it. You wait for it. You can almost like time it. Like cut on the TV, sit down on the couch. Five, four, three, two, slam, and it's just like it's such a annoying piece. And like I said, I don't know. It's just something that I wish I could do something about. But it's just again like it's kind of like with my sister and the relationship we have. It's just there's nothing you can really do. So a cousin of mine is like, how do you deal with that? How do you put up with that? It's just like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I guess at some point you get used to it, but I don't think anybody should have to be. I don't think anybody should get used to it. And it's not like it's perpetuated the other way and something that like is just back and forth. I try to go out of my way to be nice and be kind and help everybody out when I can. And I think that's the same my mom and I too. Like we try to be there for each other. It's not every week. Maybe I have I don't know, just anything. It's just we financially, um, emotionally. Um, I mean, just hanging out, watching TV together. Like we try to spend time and be there for each other. And I try to do the same with him too. And it just doesn't. It doesn't matter. He's had troubles with his battery and things, and I've tried to help him out and be there and just be a decent person, and that's all I want, I think, in return. But then, like I said, of all days, like it's just trying to kick off the new year, and it's like the first weekend. It's just like one of those things. It's just like a sour taste uh, left in the mouth. Um, but that was kind of like my birthday, and that was the big piece. Like I said, it was kind of frustrating. Not having my plans quite work out the way they did. But I think that was the biggest, you know, pill. Like it really upset me. Like I think at one point it was like about 5 or 6 o'clock. I just got like really bummed out. Like not so much at the fact that like again my plans got canceled because those things happen, um, but just the fact that I couldn't enjoy the simple, idea of just like watching some movies and just kind of hanging out on the couch. Um, except for the most part, I'm at work, you know, most of the day, and um, a lot of times I'll try to spend time in my room, and even that sometimes it can be a nuisance. Like it's like, all right, well, fine, I'll go in my room, I'll hang out, and I'll do something in here, and it's kind of the same thing. If it's the TV's too loud in here, or um, it's causing a nuisance, you get met with this kind of like I don't know, this kind of like high school girl mentality of like stomping around and slamming doors, and it's something that I don't think again anybody should have to deal with, especially not on their birthday. Um, but again, that's something I've been trying to like talk about, touch base on, um, and I think this is the best I've done at getting this across. I think it's like maybe like the third or fourth time I've talked about it, gotten it out, and finally I think I've gotten to a point where I can kind of like just put it out there, get it out there, and state the facts without getting all like you know name cally and you do this and you do that. And I'm not perfect, like I'm far from perfect. I'm sure I have my moments, and my mom can get them. Like I get it, like there are times where I'm watching TV and my mom can kind of get on my nerves as I'm trying to watch something and enjoy it. But I use my words, man. Like I'm an adult. I can ask, like, hey, can you keep it down? Or, as you're coming in and out, could you not slam this or that? Or, it's just simple little things. And I might have to repeat myself, and yeah, it gets frustrating. But I mean, that's just what it is, you know. It's like people make noise. I get blown away too. It's just like one of those things, like even with like kids, people get upset with like kids make too much noise and they're loud, and it's like, well, they're kids, man. It's like what they do, It's like you can't really help it. It's just people make noise, TVs make noise, you know, things are loud, dishes are loud. He's kind of got to be tolerant, be happy, because you never know what can happen. Things can change in a heartbeat. And it's kind of the next piece I wanted to talk about because, again, 26 has been great. It's been really good. Work's been really amazing. Um, but, um, like I said, I was doing a post the other day kind of highlighting some things of 26 and, just how cool the year was. And I think one of the biggest things that I can highlight of 26 is that while I've been able to, again, to refrain from that over there and stay on my wellness journey, um, being able to help others on theirs, being able to help people on their wellness journeys and figure out what their wellness goals look like and all of that. And I was, kind of highlighting some of that and talking about like finally doing a post for like Facebook and stuff. Again, because just being busy, like it's, trying to find time to, and everybody has those top 10 pictures they like to put out on Facebook. And I'm like looking like, I don't even if I have pictures. I don't know if I've had time to sit back and really take pictures and, like I said, really go out and do things. I'm, scrambling to do like, oh, well, you're my favorite movie of 25 and my favorite this or, whatever. And so they're doing a post the other day, finally getting out some stuff of like 25 that I wanted to highlight. And as I'm putting out the post, my cousin reaches out to me and shares some pretty bad news. So again, I think that's why it's so important. And again, I'm constantly in these videos talking about treating each other better and being a better person and being a better individual because things change so drastically and you just never know when somebody is going to be gone and what that could mean and how it can flip your whole life upside down. And you don't want to let little things like ruin that, like I said, I got some pretty tragic news about a family member the other night, and it was like literally one of those just unexpected pieces. Um, it doesn't look like I got a whole lot. Oh wait, hold on, my buddy at work just texted me. Okay. But yeah, you just never know. And again, I was like, I just got this news. It's like I couldn't believe it's like Thursday night. I just made a post on Facebook highlighting like how great 26 has been, and then I found out we just lost a family member, and it's just it was like what? Like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Like I just heard from this person yesterday, and or it's like maybe the day before, or I don't know. It's just like and then they're gone. And so it's like I said, it's so important. It's like, does my mom get on my nerves? Yes, but is it worth losing my shit over and getting upset and slamming things and just cussing and mumbling under my? It's not worth it, because again, tomorrow she could be gone, and then God, I don't even know what that would mean. I'm just so fortunate to have the people, like I said, man, oh man, like, I wish I was closer sometimes. Like, I kind of talked about the holidays and what that means. And, I don't really see a whole lot of my family. Then here it is, like, just like that, somebody's gone. It's like, man, I wish I spent more time, but not just like Christmas, like not just one day a year, like not just for, um, like Thanksgiving, but just in general, because again, you just never know, like, when you're never going to be able to see that person again, and it's like, so why wait until next December, um, to, to see that person? Um, like I wish saw my cousins a lot more. Like a lot, my cousins are probably the few of my family that I truly do adore, and I wish I could see more of. And I really do wish I could spend like more more time with them. Because even them, like as young as they are, you just never know what can happen and what can change in the blink of an eye. It's crazy what we take for granted nowadays. Just to be able to have a place to um, to put our heads at night. Just a place to be able to you know take a shower, make our coffee. Play our games, watch our movies, do the things that we like to do is amazing. And what else is there? Like I think some people would be like, oh man, you have to, live with your mom or something like that and be upset. And it's kind of like, I kind of dig it. I kind of like it. Like I said, she drives me crazy. She's a little benign. She's bananas. My mom is bananas. She's out there, man. But I love her to death. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And I think it's really cool that, among having a great job and, just good friends and all of that, like I'm able to see her every day, Like not everybody can see their mom every day, man. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to jump a little bit more into all of that. And then I think we'll do a wrap up. I think we'll do one more piece. We'll do a wrap up. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Please comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, guys, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. Take care of yourselves, man. Take care of each other. You just never know.